Ford didn't have no business making this Raptor R. So this is a 2024 model year. Actually, I take that back. They did have business making this Raptor R. So we have a competitor. Well, we had a competitor, but that went by the way of the wayside, the Ram TRX. But this, the Raptor, Ford has a Raptor with the EcoBoost, the 3.5 liter EcoBoost. But then they gave us what we wanted. They dropped the V8 in here, but not just any V8, the 5.2 liter supercharged V8 from the Mustang GT500. So this is going to crank out 720 horsepower, 640 pound-feet of torque. And as I mentioned, the Raptor, the base Raptor, $80,000. You want a Raptor R? That is a $31,000 option to get the V8 in here. You get some cool things with this Raptor R, and I am blown away by what it brings to the table. This is painted in shelter green, which is the nice olive green with the gold undertones. Nice flake when the sun hits, but it's really cloudy, icy out here too. So I wonder what those launches are gonna be like, if we can do one. But the grand total of this is gonna be it's about $115,000, fully loaded, got the panel sunroof, and I'll show you around the vehicle. But what does the engineer think about this Raptor R? Let's dive into it. I ain't lifted the hood on a lot of reviews, but we got to take a look up under here. So that little silver box on top that says Raptor, that's going to be the supercharger. Going to have the wine and everything with the Coyote up underneath. Got it bored out to the stroke to the 5.2. And this means the business. This hood is very heavy. I'm not even going to slam it on camera because people are going to be like, oh, it's soft close. No, you got to slam this thing. And shout out to these struts because that is a very heavy hood. The transmission is going to be the 10-speed auto. EPA for those that care. I know I do. Just curious about it. 10 in the city, 15 on the highway. The gas tank right here. Guess what I've been averaging? Go ahead, take a guess. Give you 2 seconds. I've averaged, well, the computer trip says like 10 miles per gallon. If you hand calculate that, that's going to be 9. So single digits. And that's not even launching the car. I just been driving it normally. I did a couple launches though, just to see what that 720 horsepower would be like. But if you want to drive one of these, you're going to have to pay to play. And it's got a 36-gallon tank, so that's going to help offset you going to the gas station every other day. The signature amber lights, we're going to have this gigantic Ford lettering. The amber lights, that's how you know it's a Raptor. It helps recognize it, as opposed to this extra body right here. It's about 7 inches wider than a normal F-150. All of this is extra right there. Off-road capable. You know it's off-road capable. Got the 37s on here, 17 inches. All-terrain tires, so you know you can just climb over everything. I mean everything. I tried a couple curves, but I don't know, I needed an off-road sand dune, and we'll talk about the drive modes in a moment. But the Raptor R is going to have this hood scoop here, the cowl, and you see it says Raptor, you see the red R. That's the little subtle things that you're going to know. This is packing the V8 up in here. And the grill, also, you're going to see that little red R right there. Red tow hooks down below. As I said, this boy's got LED lights everywhere. A bunch of auxiliaries that you can hook up anything that you would. I don't know, I'm not a truck guy like that. Then we got the functional body arrow on here. Got the big rails. You're gonna need this. You need a step stool to look up in that engine. I'm 6 feet and I gotta stand on my tippy toes to get those camera angles for you. Something cool that Ford offers that they have since I've noticed in the 90s. This keypad on the door, so if you want to unlock it, put it in your personal code, you can unlock the door without your key. The bed coming on back here. This is probably the only truck bed that I've seen without a liner, but it's got all types of LEDs, auxiliaries back here. So this is still a truck at the end of the day, so it's going to have all the utilities of one. Our suspension is going to have Fox springs, highly capable off-road, and we'll talk about how it drives later. The pipes, the exhaust. 5.2 liter V8, dual exhaust back here. We got a spare tire up underneath there. How big is that spare? It's big enough. The bed, got cameras galore. If you want to take a look in the bed while you're driving, you can do that. Power lift gate. We got this if you want to help get you up into the truck. I'm tall enough, I just put my leg up. I did my stretches this morning, so I don't have to use that ladder. So like I said, it's the only bed I've seen without a bed liner, but that's an option. You know you got the option. Ford's accessories are great. And then we have the ruler up on here. This is a truck at the end of the day, an F-150, the best seller for 48 years. And it goes back up, closes itself. The big black badge in the back with the red R. And coming back on front, I haven't noticed any other car with an antenna, but this actually, my Miata has an antenna about like this, a big long antenna. I don't know, most modern cars hide them somewhere. Let's come on to the back seat. So you could probably live in one of these things, no lie. But if you can afford one of these, you probably don't need to live in one. But if you need to just be outside, the Raptor R is the one to do it. Got the Alcantara on here on the side. Nice materials, red stitching in the perforation. Raptor R, there go that red R again. I'm starting to like that. Panoramic sunroof, which does take away from the headroom when I got my man bun up in the air. It touches the ceiling, but this truck is big enough for everybody, unless you're like 8 feet tall. Oh, no, 8-footers. Super roomy back here, power window behind me. Heated seats back here. There's our buttons to turn on the heated seats. Vents, DC outlet, power, and more power. But not a Mopar, because this is a Ford performance truck. You see the Raptor R up there. I'm going to point out every single red R I see. Cup holders. We got more cup holders than this thing can hold people. We got 2 right there on the door over there. And the door over here can hold so many things. Oh, got one up here too. Coming on up. Ford performance. These are Recaro seats. That red R right there, but they aren't branded as Recaro seats, but these are Recaro seats. Perforation Alcantara. A nice little subtle touch, V8. Ever so subtle right there to let people know that you got the one that hollers and screams. What Ford is known for, that coyote. Another red R on the steering wheel, but it's upside down. You're going to see it later. Climbing on up. Hope you got some strong legs, so you got to sitting on up in here. Close the door because it's below freezing. Whew. Turn this big boy on. There's the red R. This is a very nice interior for an F-150. I ain't been in one of these in a few years. Got this carbon over here. Carbon looking, I'm not sure if it's real or not, but hidden compartment up there. Leather wrapped on the dash. Nice B&O sound system, which sounds excellent. We have the largest head-up display I've ever seen, and it works so well. You'll see more of it when we actually drive. But it has the temperature, current speed, the speed limit signs, the time. You'll show the blind spot up in there. The most functional head-up display I have ever seen. And boy, is it large. It's from, I can't use both hands, but one end of it is over here, and the other end of it is right there. Very wide, very useful. One of the most useful ones I've ever seen. Carbon, and we got 3 settings for the memory seats. The door opener, or how you open the door, you just pull this, push out. Haven't seen the door released like that. I like it. Got the paddle shifter so you can roll your own, I guess. I don't know. Paddle shifters, you know what they do. These are metal. They're not the most heavy metal, but they are metal. So let me go show y'all some functionality of the interior. Not a whole lot, because I could spend like a whole lot of time making a video for this. More cup holders in the door. So that's at least 8 cup holders. So this right here can fold out. You can put a laptop, your lunch on this big heavy tray. This also doubles as a storage bin in the center. Huge, and you can move some things around in here to how you please. But like I showed you, you can put this column shifter down. I got to knock it on there because this shifter feels a little bit on the cheap side, but it can do something extremely cool. Fold into the floor. Got a lunchtime date, boom, dinner table. There we go. Automatic heat vents up in here. Heated seats, the heated steering wheel turn on automatically. That's a nice touch. We got automatic 4-wheel drive on here, which on the warmer days it stayed in 2-wheel high, but on colder days like today, it's like in the teens right now, or 23 degrees, it goes to 4-wheel drive automatic. Mini drive modes, I'll show y'all that in just a moment. All your auxiliary switches up here, if you want to add some light bars, some winches, or whatever you like to add to your trucks. All internal lighting LED sunglass holders. That's not really felt line. Down below, USB-A, USB-C. You can hide this compartment. That's a wireless charger, works great. This F-150, I don't like how many buttons it has on the steering wheels. It took 4 days for me to get used to this truck. Driving it and just where everything is, it's just a lot to learn with this. It has a steep learning curve for me. I've been in many cars and this took me some days to get used to. Your drive modes, you can go into R mode. you got your drive modes down here. You can do normal, sport, Baja, and all that stuff down here. But to individually select things, I can make the sport exhaust. I can set the dampers to normal or sport off-road, steering to normal sport. Does it have comfort? And the R mode, whatever you set these to, you can have it memorize it by pressing this R button and holding it. Very nice. Got lane keep assist, keeps you in the line, but no blue cruise on here. This is a Raptor, no massaging seats. You got to get you a platinum for that. Do have some cool things like some LED lighting on the side. If you want to park in the driveway when it's dark, you can hit that button. It's going to shine bright on the side of you. Something that Ford did a great job with is these cameras. This is the largest truck I've ever driven. So these cameras are going to make it much simpler. It's going to make parking a breeze, and it's too big for its own good. I couldn't pull in forward when I went grocery shopping this weekend. I had to pull in backwards, which took me quite a few tries. It was kind of, I don't want to say embarrassing, but normally it's a one-time boop, boop. But parking this truck, I had to, first I pulled in forward and realized I couldn't do it. And I was like, all right, let me pull in backwards. And once I did that, I got it in, and I was able to park next to another F-150. But it has many camera modes. Got front, back, side to side. It's 360. It's got the top down view. It's going to have a curve view, so you can tell when you're about to scrape your, well, you wouldn't scrape your rim in this. You got so much tire. You got the 37s, but it's nice to see what you're about to run onto or run into if you do run into something, especially if you're going off-roading. You will need these cameras if you're not used to driving a truck this large. Let's spin a few blocks in a 2024 Ford Raptor R. Coming up to it, you see the lights turn on, hit the door, mirrors unfold. You're gonna need that parking this thing. Those mirrors need to fold, so I gotta keep it on. Sitting up in here, see the graphics playing on the cluster. Haven't seen graphics like that in many, if any, vehicles at all. Start her up. Giant screen welcomes you, and then the exhaust defaults to normal mode. Doesn't start on sport mode, which opens it up. Buckle up for safety, and let us begin. Start off in normal mode. So when I first started driving, when I spoke about that learning curve, can't hit the brakes too hard because boom, nosedive. This is a lot of truck. ABS kicked on. I don't even think that was ice, but you got to be easy with that. All of this, you hear the tire skidding? That is a ton of weight up front. Lightweight in the back, because this is a pickup truck. So keep that in mind. Another Raptor R I didn't point out earlier on this seat and this seat. But also, visibility is great. You can see a little bit of the hood scoop there. But looking out of the blind spots, this is a lot of B pillar right here. I kept looking over my shoulder, and I kept seeing a bunch of black pillar. So just keep that in mind. Set your mirrors right, you'll be good. But it's natural to want to look over your shoulders. And be light on those brakes, because it will stop, but it takes a little bit of force, and you got to be the weight transfer. That's going to happen. That's just physics. Can't get around that. So what we're going to do right here, right now, I'm about to check out that curve camera so we don't boink the side of the curb. Ran over a piece of snow that was right by the curb so we don't scratch our 37s. And this is going to climb over whatever is there. So what I want to do is test the turning radius. So without further ado, let's do that. We actually pull up some more because I'm going to need some room with this one. Fully turn my wheel. Turning radius is abysmal. This is a large truck. Keep that in mind, I'm aware. But you're going to need to make a couple extra maneuvers to get this truck to where you want it to, as opposed to a car. This is a very large truck, so keep that in mind. You're going to, like I told you, use those cameras so you can use this to park. So now I'm about to put the suspension in normal mode, steering in comfort mode, because we're about to go on the moon simulator. We got a bunch of different modes here. Let me just talk about those real quick. We have slippery. I actually had to use this yesterday because we got a bunch of rain here, and the rain turned into snow, which froze into ice. These roads were terrible, but I was able to get along in this Raptor R. Just had to take my time, put it in slippery mode. It's going to kind of with the throttle application, it's going to dial it back a lot, so you're not just on the throttle and just making darty moves. It's going to keep your input smooth because you don't want to make sudden moves on ice like that. We got trailer tow haul mode, sport mode, which I'll get to later on. Normal mode is what I drive in. Then we got off-roading, which you drive it off the road, I guess. It's going to go to 4x4 automatically. Baja, how you be seeing those trucks on the sand dunes going fast over sand. And then we have a rock crawling mode, which crawling over rocks. Everything's self-explanatory. It's going to help you out on whichever way you need to drive. So I'm just keeping it in normal comfort mode. Moon simulator, here we go. So normally that is the roughest patch ever. We're about to come up into some more. I'm gonna drive into the messed up road. So with that being said, the damping on here is excellent, especially for an off-road truck. It's very quiet in here. I'm isolated. I don't feel those imperfections like I normally would in every other vehicle. When I drive a car down there, I feel like I'm about to flip it over. But this is a great, excellent suspension, extremely smooth. And this is an off-road application. I have to keep saying that because it has the Fox Springs on here. So I've driven Toyota trucks through there. I don't like the Toyota suspensions. They're a little bit too bouncy, it feels like a truck. This is a truck, but it doesn't feel like a truck when you drive it. I don't know if you understand that. But the other truck that I did drive was a Ram. The Ram drives smooth as well. This, I believe, is the best truck out of the ones that I have driven. I'm going to have to run it back with one of the newer Rams. But nobody offers a V8 like this anymore but Ford. Ford says they want to be the Porsche of off-roading. Something like this, boom, you nailed it, Ford. You did it. This is the Porsche of off-roading. So this is a very well composed car. You can drive it. Anybody can drive one of these. Like I said, that learning curve gonna take some getting used to if you're not used to driving a truck like this. But it can be a daily driver. It can be a grand tour. We are going to put it in sport mode. So I'm not about to be gunning it through here, but I just want to see what the body roll is like. It's got me in two-wheel high. I like to be in four-wheel drive this time of year. Four-wheel drive is gonna take away from the MPGs, and I'm letting the axle shift over to sport mode now, or 4x4, and the cluster is going to change. This revs up to 7,000 RPM. Nice, easy to read head-up display. That head-up display, I can use both hands. Boom, that wide, easy, clear to read. I wear reading glasses even after I had LASIK, and I can see that very clearly. I ain't got to pull my specs out to see that. It's going to be rolling. This is the truck. It's a sport truck, but it's not going to be flat in the corner. Just got to throw that out there. Some people see sports and think it can do all things sport. This is a different type of sport. It's like off-road sport. So they did a great job with the suspension handling. No, it's a truck at the end of the day. I can't even say it's a great handler, even in sport mode. I got my R mode set too. Actually, that's not even in sport mode. So the engine is in sport mode. Let me set up this R mode stuff. Like I said, it is a learning curve to it. All right, now I got it in R mode. My goodness. Let me turn everything to sport, except for the steering. Okay, now I got the suspension in sport mode. Let us properly test that. And being in sport mode is going to hold the revs up just a little bit higher. Do okay around curves, but at the end of the day, you're driving a lifted truck on 37-inch tires. You're not about to be out here pulling 1.15 G's out here, or even 0.8 G's if that matters. Maybe it can pull a 0.8. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing so. The truck makes a lot of good sounds. I heard some backfires while driving earlier in the week. Am I saying back? Let me say pops. Backfire sound like it's a mechanical malfunction. So the exhaust has a lot of character. Engine has character. This B&O sound system, that's something that the German cars had, like Audi and BMW. It's in Ford now, and this is an amazing sounding sound system, B&O. bung and a loosen. So now we're about to get to the sport stuff ever so briefly. Gonna shift it into manual mode. Gonna press this M on the shifter to where I can control the paddle shifters. Listen to it growl. Now this is the truck. This is the man's truck. This is all the stereotypes you want to say about a guy. I wouldn't care about it because I like everything this truck does. And I'm not even a truck person. And I hope that doesn't show through the videos. Trucks are not my favorite vehicle, but my goodness, this one changed my mind. So let us do a light launch. All right, that's all y'all get. Because you know that 720 horsepower was about to take off. Even when you're rolling, it feels so good. This powertrain, get this thing awards award. I'm gonna give it a Q award. My awards hold more value. Let's get on to the highway. Take it off manual mode, let it shift itself, and I'm gonna dial it back to normal mode. Cause this truck is a fast truck. 720 horsepower, that's just gonna be fast. Put it back on 4-wheel drive. I don't like it when to go back to 2-wheel drive. Especially with it being this cold and salt out here. It was ice out here yesterday. Woo, that's dicey. But let's try to cruise control real quick. Let me see how far is my following distance. Ooh, that's way far back. We want it close. Look at those graphics on there. I like that. All right, now we got to catch up to some cars and see how the adaptive part works. And on the highway, I can talk in a normal voice. It's telling me put both hands on the steering wheel, or maybe that's just letting me know on the head-up display that I have cruise control active. But it's very smooth for these off-road tires on here. It doesn't feel like it. Now, I've driven off-road trucks before, and it definitely feels like an off-road truck. It feels like you're driving off-road on the highway. But this truck it's like riding on the cloud somehow. Oh, is it holding my line too? It's doing that. I forgot I had that on. It's slowing down. It's not hitting on brakes. I like that when it comes to cars with the adaptive cruise control. I like it to coast to slow down before it just goes to braking because it confuses the people behind you. It's very good. And Blue Cruise, you just hands-free that thing. Excellent. So who are the competitors going to be? In-house, we have the Raptor, not the R version. We got the Toyota TRDs, the Chevy Silverado ZR2, I guess the GM AT4. They don't have the power to match, but I guess they have the off-road, which would compete with maybe a regular Raptor, but like a trim of the F150. Nissan doesn't have the Titan anymore. Who else is making trucks? And the Ram Rebel, the RHO now is what Ram had. But given the choice of all of those, F150 Raptor, I choose you with the R on the end. Gotta have the R because I like this a lot. I'll become a truck guy if I drive one of these. That 10.4 miles per gallon though, so we've driven 190 miles this week so far, and my miles to empty is 90. So we wouldn't even make 300 miles on the tank with 36 gallons. Keep that in mind there if you care about the environment. If you buy one of these, you don't care about the environment. But MPGs, I calculate all my MPGs, and this would be on the lower end of it. Testing out this handling right here, which I said earlier is not going to be impressive at all. Maybe for a truck, I guess. I don't know. It don't impress me, but it is an off-road truck. Got to keep that in mind. Now we're shifting to 4-wheel drive. You can customize this cluster too. You can customize a lot of this stuff. That'll be a whole separate video if I were to just talk about all the features. It is loaded to the gills. This is Ford's cash cow. This is what keeps the lights on at Ford. Actually, it keeps the lights on, sipping tea, eating caviar at Ford. This is the bread and butter. So it's the marquee vehicle. It's gonna have everything Ford has to offer. They're very passionate about these F-150s. They set trends. Sometimes Ford is a little late to set trends, but the F-150, they go there, and they're one of the first. They were the first one to do aluminum panels on this. GM made I don't want to call it a smear campaign, but they made fun of Ford for doing that. But lightweight, so it's going to be more fuel efficient. Let me just get a pull in real quick, because it was just about to get going, and then Audi just took a quarter of a mile just to figure out they want to get out the lane. put it in manual mode real quick. This is a badass truck. And it sits up very high. Like when I can ride on the side of semi trucks and just look them in the face like, yo, what's up? Start to lift up. Satisfying hearing these paddle shifts just clank. I haven't really played with those all week. Shifts pretty quick enough. But if you want to turn this into a drag truck, by all means, it can do it. It can do many, many things. Kudos for Ford for building this in a time where everybody strayed away from the V8. Actually, they did take the V8 from us, and then they brought it back and upcharged us $30,000 to throw it in the Raptor. The first Raptor, it had a 6.4 liter V8 in there. Took them away, brought it back. I'm excited that it is here. Ford says they're going to sell the V8 as long as they're legally allowed to. Thank you, Ford. That's what I want in the car. The V8. Don't take it away. Give us options. Because that's what drives the passion. And this thing revs at 7,000 RPM. That is exciting. So that's all I'm going to have to say about that. Shout out to Ford for loaning me this for the week. Very exciting vehicle. And it is just the pinnacle of all truck stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drive safe. If you want to support the channel, check out the merch. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out. I ended the video. The wireless charger wasn't charging my phone. What's going on, thing? These things can be finicky at times. All right, there it goes. Must wasn't placed on correctly. Gotta go back to manual mode because that is so much fun. Taking a little minute for these gears to drop. Woo, boy! Got whiplash on that. My God. Man, speechless. All right, man. I gotta end it now before I gotta drive this alone. Cameras off, man. Cameras off. Having too much fun out here. Y'all be safe.